Well, morning everybody, back to the bike here again. So I'm out today on a late January day. It's 2 degrees, it's been a frost overnight, it's about 10:30 now, the sun's coming up. Road surface is reasonably okay, but it's damp, so I'm sticking to the dry lines this morning and managing my speed accordingly. So the primary purpose for coming out today is because it's having now received my Halvarssons Walkyr suit and the wish pants, I can glue it all together with my held gloves and my city Gore-Tex boots, and I'm all set for my winter strategy. So I'm just coming out today to road test it, really, just to see what difference it makes. So I've picked a route heading north today because the sun is very bright, the roads are damp, so didn't really want to head south or east with the glare on the roads. So the strategy on such days is always to try to head away from the sun. The overall aim is to extend my distances. I don't really want to be limited by the cold. Obviously ice is going to stop me, snow is going to stop me. But I want to get riding again. I've not been able to get out as much over the last 2 months for a variety of reasons as I would normally like to. And I've actually found my skills have just got a little bit rusty. So I need to work on those. So I need to work on my commentary today. And ride according to the prevailing conditions. I always maintain that getting the first, I don't believe, made me an advanced rider. It just demonstrated that for an hour I can ride to a high standard. But of course the trick is to do that consistently well. Make it repeatable, make it my normal behaviour. So the plan today is just take a couple of hours. Generally find when I get a new item of kit, it just disrupts your sort of normal flow somehow. I think because it's the bike can sometimes feel a little bit different, either through a new pair of gloves or boots, or even today's suit and trousers actually. So I just find there's a period of settling in really for any new item of kit until again you just forget about it. So I'm particularly interested today in the performance of the Outlast material developed by NASA for the space program. See whether it really does keep me warm. And one other item of kit I'm wearing today is a Halvarssons thermally heated neck warmer, which was given to me by the MCA at Leicester and asked me if I would actually review it. So I'm wearing that today. I've not switched it on yet because I wanted to test the suit without it, but later on I might plug it in and I'll give you a dedicated review on that a little bit later. So just rolling off there, no need to brake. Drop down to third and pick up drive. As always in a village I like to get a little blast of fresh air. No following traffic. And as has been impressed into me by my mentor Dale, C5 Flister, if you've not come across him, check his videos out. The best instructional advanced motorcycle riding videos on the internet as far as I'm concerned. But Dale's advice in this weather, this time of year, just keep things very smooth. Still no following traffic, the village is quiet this morning. Road surface is reasonably good actually, not seen any mud yet. and I really want to improve my cornering in 2019. I think I mentioned on a previous video that I'm going to be doing a track day up at Mallory Park, and that particular day is run by police bikers. And I just want a little more confidence in my cornering, really. I think that's just a function of time, really, but also a bit of technique and a bit of instruction. I think doesn't do you any harm, does it? So over the tops now, north of Naseby, heading into Leicestershire. Might already be in Leicestershire, actually. Road surface improving by the minute, but you never know when they might be under some trees, there might be some ice. Air temperature 2 degrees. Okay, so I can see a car just over the hedge there. Don't want to meet him on the bend, so I'm just going to get this pull into a nice conservative dry line, which is probably where I'll spend most of my time today, to be honest. Another of the Naseby viewpoints there, Rupert's View. Lifesaver. This is something you come across a lot where I live. You know, groups of 10 or 15 cars parked like that, a muddy road surface, and it's where they're putting in these thousands of new homes. Eating up our green belt. Don't get me started on that. The sense I have is that Halvarssons have priced the Walkyr jacket very competitively, actually. If you compare it, for example, with the fact it's only 60 quid more than their Prime jacket, which has the Z-liner. But of course, the performance of this jacket and the comfort of it are certainly of, again, not that I've worn a Rucker jacket, but other reviews I've read, that it's certainly comparable. So this is the first ride out in the suit, and I'll obviously be riding with it well into the spring, so I shall give you regular updates about how it performs. Morning. It was interesting using MCA as my supplier this time, because I think we just tend to think it's a sports bike shop for everything, but I saw a different side actually. These are little local suppliers, just a little a different feel really. Now then, I think it's left here. Certainly get a very personalised service. Not that sports bike shop doesn't give you that, it does. But I think it's good to support these local outlets. You know, it's like all these things, you either use them or you lose them. And they gave me a very good price. The suit was late arriving, but that wasn't their fault, I don't think. It was more to do with the fact that I ordered it just before Christmas. And MCA themselves would tell you that their specialism is actually in the sort of racing gear, really. But they are one of the few stockists of Halvarsson in the UK. I think Halvarssons deliberately, what I can gather, I think they sort of avoid some of the bigger stockists. Not quite sure why that is. But I like kit that's well thought through, well designed, and so far so good. Just need to watch the road surface, just a little bit of mud appearing. Got a bend system. And what I've learnt in the winter is where you sort of confidently position and set yourself up for a bend, you know, you can sort of get halfway through that bend and there's mud. So suddenly the road surface is gone. So for me it's a different subroutine. Okay, so over the A6, and we're going to pick up the 6047 now, which is part of the Rutland TT ride. Not going to do the whole Rutland TT today, just a little section of it. Right, so now we can test the suit. We're onto some sort of good, decent, standard 50-mile-an-hour roads. There's very little breeze today, if any at all. Temperatures come up to 3.5 degrees. So this sort of temperature, probably between 2 and 5 degrees, is for me sort of typical of the winter temperatures in which I'd ride. I wouldn't go out in temperatures below 2 degrees because of the risk of ice, and today's a dry day, so this will be a really good sort of cold weather test of the Walkyr suit. And again, what I'll do over the next couple of weeks is I'll pick a day when it's rainy and we'll get out in the wet as well. We'll put it through its paces. I've got the suit actually tucked into my boots today, but obviously on a wet day I'd have the suit over the boots. I'm not sure whether you can see through my dirty screen the new High-vis jacket. High-vis Mark II, and as I mentioned on the review, the jury's out really, isn't it, on whether High-vis makes a difference or not. Some people won't wear it, like my mate Dale. Others sort of swear by it, and there's no doubt at all that it works better in some conditions than others. And with the sun, if you come between, let's say, a vehicle and the sun, the High-vis actually tends to camouflage. Or if your High-vis is actually contrasted against, let's say, some autumn leaves, golden brown autumn leaves, then it can tend to camouflage you. But for me, I think 19 times out of 20 it makes you more conspicuous. And I think the particular advantage of the Walkyr system is this, with this sort of half High-vis, which just literally just covers your shoulders, is you get the best of both worlds, because you get the blackness of the jacket contrasting against the High-vis vest. So we've got some traffic lights ahead. Nope, not being used. So again, it's this little attention to detail I like with this Scandinavian outfit. And their claim is if it works in Scandinavia, it should work elsewhere. So I'm an hour into the ride now. I've got the heated seat on too, I've got the heated grips on too. I can just feel a coolness on my thighs, but markedly less so than if I'd been wearing my leathers. My upper half just feels like it would do on a summer's day. One thing I have noticed, and again I don't know what your sort of method for handling all this is, just the absolute palaver now of getting dressed to get on the bike. I reckon it took me 40 minutes this morning to get everything on in the right order. By the time you put mobile phones, wallets and keys in the right pockets, it reminds me of days of old when, of course, a knight was going to go out to battle and he had a squire who would dress him, putting on his undersuit and his oversuit and his armour and strapping it all together. I took a quick look at my flashcards this morning when I was preparing for the test. I captured all the lessons on a series of about 50 flashcards. So my sort of key messages, like that I've been taught by Dale, things like slow in, fast out, what I've christened the 2-second rule, that may be taking 2 seconds longer to arrive at a hazard, just so you can gauge and read the situation. Speed first, then gear, drop down, pick up, all his catchphrases. But it all boils down to observation and concentration. Now it's the first time I've done an overtake with a view on the inside. Wouldn't want to be stuck behind a camper van coming through these lovely curves. So a great opportunity now to work on my cornering. This road surface looks reasonably dry now. Possibility of traffic lights ahead. No, non-operational. So in the central position over the crest. I can see the exit point there, no traffic, so take a tighter line. Mirror check, NSL, off we go. Nice smooth throttle through this bend. I'll hold the dry line there. And we're down the hill now, we've got reasonably sharp right into left. That's a little bit of brake, I think. And accelerate through the bend. And again, quite a sharpish left-hander here, nearly 90-degree bend. straight line this. Keep an eye on this yellow van. No following traffic. Right-hander. Big HGV approaching over the hedge there. Don't want to meet him, so I'm going to keep well away. Just drop the speed a little bit. There we are. That's good. And then again another HGV, so let's get away from him. Okay, so road surface is drying out now. What a great day to be out on a bike. Again, let's move from the HGV. Just get little glimpses over the tops of the hedge. Okay, concealed entrance. Tractors turning, which often means mud, doesn't it? This looks good. Right-hander coming up, and looks like we're coming into a village. Vanishing points coming towards me, so I'm just rolling off. Maintain, drive through the bend, move away from the oncoming traffic. Right-hander and a white van there. And another van. Down into the borough of Melton Mowbray. Yeah, so there's no doubt the suit is more snug. I've certainly got a coolness across the top of my thighs, but that's the only, I would say that's the only cold spot really, and I wouldn't even describe that as cold. And I think if I wanted to spend some more money, which I probably don't to be honest, I'd probably just get myself some thermal long johns, merino wool or something like that. Lifesaver. So if you think I'm sitting in a 3°C airflow here, and I've been now for probably, let's say, an hour and a half or so, I'm actually quite toasty really. Heated seats only on 2, I could crank that up if I wanted to. The grips I could crank up, there only on the 2nd setting out of 5. So I think we can tick the box. So I think the only question that remains unanswered for me now is the wet weather performance of the gear. The fact that several of the UK's police forces actually use Halvarssons as well, I think probably says something. Road's dipping right over the crest. and we shall be turning right in Great Dalby for the return leg. I haven't needed to switch on the heated neck warmer. And we head up towards Little Dalby now. Lovely to be out in the winter. I love the stillness, the bare hedgerows. You can see so much more. And I think because the wildlife is hungrier, tends to be bolder as well, which means you get to see a little bit more. Right, heading south now down towards Oakham. So because I'm now heading south, I've got an additional issue that of the glare of the sun. I just need to take into account. It's a decent quality A road. Again, the road here just has a little bit of a gleam on it, so I'm going to stick to the dry line in the middle of the road. And if you noticed as well, the dry line, the gravel, the grit that is built into the tarmac actually is more pronounced. It's less worn, isn't it? And it's, as I understand it, it's that grit or gravel or bumpiness on the road that actually gives you grip, particularly in the wetter conditions. So, 60-mile-an-hour wind blast. My top half is perfectly insulated. I've got to say the jacket, and I think particularly in conjunction with the neck warmer, even though it's not switched on, is actually keeping me very toasty. And if I compare how cold I am now with how cold I was on the ride I did through the Cotswolds a couple of weeks ago, there's no doubt at all this suit has made a difference. Well, it's a good 2 hours later now, feeling very snug. So as far as I'm concerned, the Walkyr jacket has passed its cold weather test. Legs are warm, top half is warm, everything's fine. So Back to the bike signing off, and I'll join you in the comments. Bye for now.